Thank you, Ritesh. So good afternoon, everyone. So as you see, so I'll be giving discussion about the experimental searches for the charge excess. So as you know, the charge excess, like say single charge X, which is denoted like H plus minus, and the doubly charge X, which is denoted like H plus plus or H minus minus. So such charge excess are produced in many BSM models, like say 2Higgs doublet models, 3Higgs doublet models, and also Higgs triplet models such as say type 2 seesaw models. And as you can see at the LHC, for example, the single charge Higgs boson can be produced in two ways. So depending on the charge Higgs mass. So when the charge Higgs is lighter than the top part, then this can be produced in the dominantly through the decay of the top part. Say like you have production of TT bar pairs, and then one of the top or both decay to a charge Higgs boson. Okay. And on the other hand, when charge Higgs boson is heavier than the top part, then it can be produced in association with the top part, like say going to here T, B, and H plus, or gluon and B going to TH plus. So here you can see, for example, the calculated cross sections for these cross sections are calculated, I think, for the type 2 doublet models for different values of tan theta, so 1, 8, and 30. And these cross sections are calculated for charge Higgs, which are close to the top quarks, like around the top quark mass. In particular, this paper was about calculating the cross section at NLO close to the top quark mass. So you can see that the cross sections as you go from light charge Higgs to the heavy charge Higgs. Okay. At LHC, there are many searches for charge Higgs bosons. So for singly charged Higgs bosons, there are for high mass regions, you have searches for charges decaying to top and bottom quarks, which is dominant in for high tan beta region. And also charges going to tau and nu, and W and G as well. For low mass, we have charges decaying to tau and nu, neutrino. Charges also decaying to CB, CS quarks, and W, and one of the scalar boson A. And for the doubly charged Higgs, there are searches for doubly charged Higgs decaying to vector boson pairs, and as well as doubly charged Higgs decaying to lepton pairs. So I'll be going through all these ones. So actually the ones with and colors have results from the full round 2 data, and the ones in black mostly have the results from only 2016 data sets. Okay. Okay, so the first analysis is charge Higgs decaying to tau nu. So this analysis covers both light charge Higgs search as well as heavy charge Higgs search, where the charges decays to a tau and a neutrino. So for light charge Higgs, as you can see that the charge Higgs comes from the decay of the top part, and for the heavy charge Higgs, both this kind of diagrams are included. And this in the type 2 Higgs doublet model, the branching ratio to tau nu is largest for low MH region, and this is also significant for high MH region, okay, or heavy charges. So as you can see here from this plot obtained by the LHC Higgs cross-section working group. So here in this region for the light charges, this blue curve, which is going to tau nu, is largest, almost close to 1, and also it's significant for heavy charges. So for these searches, both hadronic as well as leptonic decay of the tau leptons have been considered, and that both hadronic as well as leptonic decay of the associated top quark have been considered. So at the end, you have 3 types of final states. Say tau H. Tau H means when tau decays to hadrons plus jets, or hadronic tau plus lepton plus jets, where this lepton comes from the decay of the W, or you have L plus jets, where you have multiple leptons coming from W as well as charge X through decay of the tau lepton. So tau lepton decays to a lepton as well. Okay. So there are actually various kind of triggers have been used in this case, particular for the heavy charges. Sorry, for the hadronic tau final states, the triggers are single tau plus missing transverse momentum, which have a very high threshold. And for the leptonic channels, you use lepton triggers. So in this case, actually, particularly for the hadronic case, the QCD is a major background, and they are suppressed using some angular discriminant. For example, here you can see discriminant like delta R between BB, 2 BPUX, the minimum delta R between 2 BPUX, and also the variables like tau polarization are used to suppress backgrounds. Like here it is defined as R tau, which is the ratio of the leading track, PT of the leading track over the total tau PT. Okay, then each final states are further categorized based on the number of jets and beta jets, and also missing momentum and variables sensitive to the tau polarization. Then you perform a simultaneous fit to the final discriminant, which is the transverse mass of the tau plus met in all categories to extract the signal. So here it shows the empty distributions. Okay, for this you can see the data and the expected backgrounds and 2 scenarios for the charging signal. So this is for the 2 TeV case, the red dotted lines, and blue one is for the 200 GB. Okay, so of course we don't see any excess yet. So we obtain the upper limits on production cross section times branching fraction. So this analysis, this results is still with the 2016 data, and that analysis with the full run to data is still underway. So as you can see, the limits are on the cross section times branching fractions, starting from 80 GB up to 2 TeV. And you have actually 3 different regions. Region for low MH up to 165, then region for high MH up to 180 to 3 TeV, and there is an intermediate region which is close to the top mass. And this result is also interpreted in one of the MSSM scenarios, MH mode minus, and you can see that it excludes the height and beta region for up to say like 500 GB charging mass. Okay. A similar result also exists from the Atlas, also from 2016 data. So they considered only the hadronic tau final states, and also they obtain limits for low charges. They obtain limits on the branching fraction for B going to for T going to charge X, and then charge is going to tau nu, and for the high mass they obtain the limits on the cross section terms branching fraction. And they, so you can see that there is a discontinuity here, and you can and then the results are interpreted in HMSSM scenarios. Again, here you can see that the height and beta region is excluded. Okay, so this one is actually that was one of the major analysis for search for the charge explosion at LHC. Then the next one is the charge is going to TeV. It is particularly important at high tan beta region, as you saw that at high tan beta, sorry, at a high charge X mass, the cross section is the branching fraction is highest to the top and bottom parts. So the searches are performed in the range 200 GB to 2 TeV by Atlas. So the final states that are considered is 1 lepton plus jets, and depend as you see that the charges decays to a top and the bottom, and you have two top quarks and two bottom quarks, and the top quark decays. So at the end, you expect that large number of jets and large number of beta jets. So require at least 5 jets and at least 3 of them are beta. And then the events are categorized according to the number of jets and b jets. And analysis is a multivariate analysis using the neural network to discriminate signal from the background, which combines jet multiplicities and several kinematic variables. The background here is again dominated by the TT bar plus jets, which is taken from Monte Carlo, and then there are flavor dependent corrections are applied to match to the data in control regions. So here you see the various jet and B jet categories. There are 4 such categories. And as you can see here, the distribution of the neural network output for 2 such categories, which one category is with 6 jet and greater than or equal to 4 jets. So here you can see, for example, different backgrounds and the signal here in the red. So this is for the signal 200 GB, and for this one it's for the signal 800 GB. So as you can see that as you choose different mass hypothesis, the background distribution also changes. Okay. So again, I don't see any excess, so obtain upper limits on the production process, sometimes branching fractions. So as you can see here, the limits are there. And you can see with respect to 2016 data, you have a significant improvement in the expected limits, in the observed limits. And these are 2 theoretical cross-section curves in HMSSM scenario for tan beta equal to 0.5 and tan beta equal to 1. And the results are again interpreted in a HMSSM scenario as well as MH125 scenarios. So you can see that it excludes tan beta above say around 40 for HMSSM scenario, and also it excludes very low tan beta regions like up to for a large mass range. Okay, so again similar searches were there for CMS, but the results are still only with the 2016 data. So you see a similar results here, and here in this case it is using, there are 2 analyses. One is lepton plus jets, as well as another one is with fully hadronic states where W's are decaying to hadrons. So you can see the sensitivity of the 2 analyses. The leptonic channel has a large sensitivity. This one, the green one, and okay, so this is single lepton and the dilepton. The single lepton has large sensitivity, and the dilepton has slightly. And again, you can see the similar interpretations in the MSSM MH mode minus scenarios. Okay. So I think I made. So here, this is the combination of both the analysis, the fully hadronic one and the semi-leptonic one. So this one is from the fully hadronic state, and this one is sorry, this is for the associated production of TBH, and this one for the S channel production of the charges. And then the combination of them, the leptonic as well as hadronic one, you can see that it improves for the exclusion limits. Okay. Now next going to a few more analysis for the low mass low charges. So one is charges decaying to CB. So these light charges can be produced in the decay of the top quarks, and such decays are allowed in some models like 2H doublet models and 3H doublet models, for example, like this, where the charges decays to C quark and P quark. So this analysis searches for the Higgs boson within 60 GB to 160 GB for the final state, which is 1 lepton plus 4 jets, and 3 of them are beta. And then you categorize events according to the number of jets and beta jets. So the major backgrounds again here is the TTY because the topology is almost exactly same except having one additional digits. So the signal region that is considered is these regions, and then the other regions are used for the validation and for the validations and Monte Carlo corrections. So here you see, in colors, the contributions of different backgrounds into different signal categories and background control region categories. So the background is discriminated using a neural network classifier, which is trained against the standard model background with the events in the region with the 4Z and greater than 4Z and 3B beta jets. So the input variables like jets and lepton kinematics, beta information, and inherent mass variables are used. And this neural network is parameterized. So this is PNN. It's parameterized as function of MH plus, and all signal samples are combined for the training. And then you do the bin profile likelihood fit of this discriminant in this signal regions to obtain to extract the signal. And here you can see the neural network score for signal and the total background and their shape. And here you see the the same distribution with the data and the different components of the background and the signal. So this is for the prefit. So you can see the data is slightly higher than the signal from the background, but within the uncertainty range. And then this is for the post-fit distributions. And again, you obtain the upper limits. So here it shows the number of events obtained in different categories. So from 4Z, 5Z, and 6Z categories. And here it shows the limits obtained on the branching fractions. So the limits are in the range of say 0.1 to around 0.3 between 60 GB to 160 GB. And you have the observed one is always slightly higher than the expected, and you have a slightly larger fluctuation around this region. And these theoretical curves are for predictions in 3x doublet model for 3 benchmark scenarios. Okay, so another analysis is the charge is decaying to CS bar. So in this case, it is exactly similar to the CP, but the charge is decayed to C quark and S quark instead of B quark. So this analysis is more difficult compared to the previous one because it has exactly similar topology as TT bar events, and we don't have an advantage of having additional P quark. And you know that W also decays to CS bar for about 30% times, I think. So that's why this becomes more difficult to search for than the previous one. And such decays is possible in some of the 2x doublet models. So the analysis considers 1 lepton plus 4 jets, and 2 of them are p-tagged. And then the final discriminant that is used is the pair of jets coming from the charge X. So the pair of jets, if you just calculate the die-jet mass distribution, so you will have a very large tail because of the resolutions. So, and also combinatorial backgrounds. So what is done is to use a kinematic fit to reconstruct the full TT bar events so that the jets are assigned correctly and they are corrected. So and with the kinematic fit, you improve the die-jet mass resolution significantly, and you get this kind of distributions for the TT bar, and you have distributions for signal here, for example, for the 100 GeP signal. Okay, and here it shows this same distributions for different values of the C tagging working point. So the C tagging is used first time in this analysis. So depending on the C tagging criteria, to divide the events, not throw them, but divide the events into different categories, and then use them together in the fit to obtain the signal. So as you see that with tight C tagging criteria, your signal contribution improves. Okay. And here you see the results for this analysis, giving limits on the branching fractions. So the branching fractions here limits are around say like 2 2% to up to something like 10 to the power minus 1. 2 to 3 times 10 to the minus 1. So this is again with 2016 data. So we expect a significant improvement with a full round 2 data. Okay, and then the next one is again for the low mass Higgs, but here the Higgs decays to a double boson and a pseudoscalar A, and where the A boson decays to a pair of muons. So in this kind of decay again expected into its doublet models, and the branching fraction can be significant for low values of the A boson. So the searches are performed for charge Higgs boson mass between 100 GeV and 160 GeV, while considering the mass of the A boson between 15 GeV to 75 GeV. So here you can see that the W decays to either pair of quarks or lepton and neutrino, while the A decays to pair of muons. So the signal signature consists of one electron coming from W, and then 2 muons coming from the A boson, plus 3 jets, and at least one of them is p-tagged. So the signals are generated with the different grids, mass grids for A boson and H plus. So you can see these are the points in this space, and the percentage numbers are as the acceptance numbers or efficiency numbers at each of these mass points. Okay. So in this case, the major backgrounds are TT bar, but also the TTG and G plus heavy flavor events. So they are estimated using a semi-data driven approach taken from, for example, the Monte Carlo, and then you take the normalizations, constraining the data using a profile like load fit in a background energy in these control regions. So there are some other small backgrounds, but they are taken from Monte Carlo. So in this case, the searches is performed for an excess in the opposite sign dimuon mass spectrum. So what it is done is that you see the dimuon mass distribution here, and then you do a counting experiment for each mass point, considering a fixed bin size. So for each of these points, so you consider a few bins, and then count the number of events in each of these bins, the number of signal and background events. So considering that you have this number of bins, something like 75 bins for different values of MA. So it's a 1 GeV interval, and then you have number of events for each of these bins from signal and background and the data. Okay. So then the upper limits are obtained on branching ratio for top going to charge Higgs boson, and then charge Higgs boson going to WA and A going to mu. So here is the limits on the branching ratio. So here you can see the limits, observed limits and expected limits for 3 different mass hypotheses. So charge Higgs boson 120 GeV, 140 GeV, and 160 GeV for different values of MA. So you can see here. So for 120 GeV, the limits are only up to MA 30. While for say 140 GeV, the limits are only up to MA 45. And for 160 GeV, the limits are only up to 75 GeV. So then these limits are also interpreted in a type 1 2 doublet model. So here you see limits on the tan beta for in the MH plus and the MA parameter space. So the limits are here on the tan beta in different regions. So yeah, and this is the observed one, and this is what you expect. Okay, again, there are similar results from CMS. So these results was with 2016 data.
Arun,
and yes.
You have spent already 20 minutes just to inform. And can you go back to previous slide?
Yeah.
These limits are upper or the lower limits, tangent beta?
No, this is upper limits.
Okay. Thanks.
upper limit on the production cross sections.
No, tangent beta, the right panel.
These are lower limits on the
Okay.
tangent beta.
Okay, thanks.
Asked a question in the middle. Ritesh, maybe I can ask. I was planning to ask it later.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
here you can.
But honestly, I didn't understand the right-hand plots at all, to be
Okay.
honest. The left-hand side is a sort of standard exclusion thing, that it's a upper limit and we know that area below is allowed. Okay.
Yes.
But
So
here, what is being said is not clear to me.
Yeah. Okay. So what I think is that here they obtain a limit on the tan beta. So giving a you say in a mass values for Ma and Mh plus, what is the limit on the tan beta?
I see.
Yeah. So the limits is that's why it's a 2D.
The tangent beta has to be higher than that.
Yes. Yes. So this is a lower limit on the tangent beta. So tangent beta have to be higher than that.
I see. Okay.
And this the limits are given in this color code.
And the signal
Like-
goes down, of course, as tangent beta rises.
Yes.
Okay. So since we are asking questions, I mean, I will ask other questions later. But here, I just want to know whether there are any interpretations with CP violation, or this is only CP conserving 2HDM.
I think this is only CP conserving, and there have been
Okay.
no other interpretations.
Because some of, I mean, that you know yourself, that we had done this long back, that some,
Yes.
some extra couplings get induced and some mass hierarchies get reproduced, which
Yes.
will give rise to similar signals. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
so I was
In
just
that
curious
case-
whether,
Can A go to also muon?
yeah,
Okay.
of course it can.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying that that is
Yeah, but I have
something
not
that is
seen
perhaps,
any interpretations of the CP volatility.
yeah. So that would be still interesting. I mean, a sort of a reinterpretation of this, because these are pretty recent results, right?
Yes.
And these are just conference.
Yeah, I think this came around August. So I
This
I
is-
had presented this also in SUSI conference, I think.
Okay. No,
Okay.
thanks. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, similar results from CMS, but here there are no interpretations also. This is only with the 2016 data, so we expect that we'll have some updates soon. Okay, then I move to the doubly charged Higgs bosons. So the first one here is the searches for the VBA production of the doubly charged Higgs boson, where the doubly charged Higgs can decay to a pair of W bosons, or you can have also a similarly produced single charge Higgs boson, which can decay to W and G boson. So this is production of the single charge Higgs and the double charge Higgs, and the analysis is done together. So these kind of productions and decay are motivated by this Georgi-Matarsek model with the sp2 scalar triplets. So it has actually clean signature because you can have two isolated same sign leptons, two lepton same sign, or you can have three leptons, or and with two VBFJs. So you have sort of clean signatures here. And the backgrounds that contribute to this are the WWWZ backgrounds, which are measured, in situ in the pit. And then you also have other backgrounds like hex, lepton hex, and TZ and ZZ backgrounds, which are obtained from 3 control regions in data. And then you have also some prompt irreducible backgrounds from JETEC and Monte Carlo. So here it shows the dilepton mass for no, sorry, not dilepton, dijet mass, which is shown from 500 to 3 TB, 500 GB to 3 TB. So here you see that the you have the signal here in green, which is for the pair for the doubly charge X, and also in the blue, which is for the single charge exposure. And you can see that the background falls off rapidly. Okay. Similarly, you have another discriminant, which is a MT of WW, both W together, and you can see that the expected distribution and the data and the signal distribution. Okay, the signal is then extracted from this 2D distributions. Then this 2D distribution, which are then shown here in 1D, are then unrolled into a single 1D distribution. So the 2D is then made into 1D, and then you have different regions. So here you can see the signal region here, and you have the WZ signal region here, and then you have these control regions for different backgrounds in this distribution. And these distributions are fitted together in signal region and control region to extract the limits. Okay. So here you see the limits on the doubly charged Higgs boson production and also the singly charged Higgs boson production here. So starting from mass about 500 GeV. Sorry, this should be, remember, it's 500 GeV to something like 50. Yes. And then these results are then also interpreted in this Dorjai-Makasek model. So you see the results in the plane MH5 and sin theta h parameter space, and you can see that the values above this are excluded. Okay. Then there are also searches for the charges decays to vector bosons in ATLAS, where you have the similar production, but the pair production of the charge Higgs boson and associated production of the charge Higgs boson with single charge Higgs. Okay, while the double charge Higgs decays to pair of W bosons, the single charge Higgs decays to W and Z. And while in this case, you have 4 Ws in the final state. So these production modes are in this analysis, they are considered separately, not together, because they consider that in this case they are not degenerate. The singly and double charges are not degenerate, while in this case they are degenerate. Okay. So again, in this case also you will have clean signatures with 2 same-sign leptons or 3 leptons or 4 leptons, and then you apply additional criteria based on the event topology. So this plot shows the number of events that you obtain in different signal regions and for different mass hypotheses. So you have 2 lepton same sign, 3 lepton, and 4 lepton for mass hypothesis 200 GeV, and similarly for 500 GeV and so on. Okay. And there are 2 categories of backgrounds. There are the standard model events with prompt leptons, so which are taken from Monte Carlo, but the normalization is taken from a control region in data. And then there are non-prompt or fake leptons, and also there are charge flip leptons. The electron can have charge flip, and you get 2 same-sign leptons. So those are estimated from data using a Thecret method. So here you see the distribution of the missing transverse energy for different categories. So 2 lepton same sign, 3 lepton, and 4 lepton. And you can see that the signal distributions for pair produced and the associated production. So the associated pair production has a larger process compared to the associated production. Okay. So
what is the, okay, you gave me this. So this is low mass, right? I mean, the mass of the H plus?
Mass of the H plus, it's a
plus H plus plus, I mean.
Yeah, so 200 to 500 GeV.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see it's 200 to about.
Yeah, you can see it on this plot, sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, so here you see the exclusion limits in both cases treated separately. So this is from the pair production one, and this one is for the associated production. So you can see you have pretty strong limits already obtained on this. Okay, and the last one for completeness is the doubly charged Higgs decaying to pair of same sign leptons. So here again, you consider the pair production of the doubly charges and charges decays to a pair of same sign leptons. So in this case, this is Atlas results. They consider only decay to electrons and muons. The tau are not considered in this case. So there are clean signatures again, 2 lepton, 3 lepton, 4 lepton. And then, okay, the backgrounds are also similar to the previous case, and they are also measured in similar ways. So here you see 3 different regions, the control region for these final states. So this is giving the final states, 2 lepton, 3 lepton, 4 lepton, and so on. And the number of events you obtain in the control regions, in the validation regions, and then this is the signal region. Okay. Yeah, so this shows the limits. So here you basically do a search for the dielectron mass spectrum over the background, and there the limits are obtained on the this is so this is the limit for 2 different scenarios. One is where the background the branching ratio is considered 100% to muons, and this is branching ratio considered different values are assumed for branching ratio for electron, muons, and then also EMI. So there are many scenarios that have been considered. So I'm just showing the 2 of them. So they have considered individual branching ratio 100% for each of these, and also there are some scenarios that are considered where you can have different branching ratios to different leptons. And this is the limits, exclusion limits from data, and you have the expected signal cross section from 2 different production modes, where you can have HL or HR production modes, so right-handed or left-handed ones. So they have different.
Sorry, this I'm getting
sections.
confused. What is left-handed and right-handed for H plus? I mean, it's a scalar object.
No, so sorry, I think I should have explained maybe better. So the left-handed is the when the charge X couples to left-handed fermions, left-handed leptons, and the charge X couples to right-handed leptons. So the charge is decays to right-handed.
Okay, so it's a hypercharge based thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and the production cross sections are also different. So the left-handed ones seems to have higher cross section compared to this, so that it has stronger limits expected.
Yeah, because that will involve G2, and HR will mean that it will couple more to the U1, G1.
Yeah.
And G2 is always bigger than G1. I think that must be the reason. Thanks.
Okay, so they also provide results in 2 dimensions. The limits on the mass given the branching ratio fractions. So you consider different branching fractions for muons and the electrons. For the this is for the left-handed left-handed one, and this is for the right-handed one. So here you see, assuming different branching fractions to electrons and muons, what is the upper limit on the mass of the charge exposure? So that is given in this plots. So you see stronger limits on the left-handed case compared to the right-handed ones. Okay. Okay, for completeness.
Sorry, can you go back to the last slide?
Sure.
Because this is too much to remember to ask later. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
What I am confused is what is the difference between the left and the right plot?
So the left
the top
is the
2 plots I couldn't see.
Yeah, sorry. The left one is the expected limits. So you should just take the outside one.
Okay.
So the right one.
All right. No, you have it on the slide. Okay. Because I kept on looking at the plots and I couldn't see what was the difference. So you have one has done only a tiny bit worse than the observed is actually better than what was expected.
Yeah,
Because
so I think they should be pretty similar because these are obtained from these limits, and you see that
okay, then
expected and
that's
observed are
clear.
pretty similar.
Then that is clear. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So similarly, the CMS also has similar searches, but this is only with the 13.5 inverse of 2016 data, not giving the full data set. And you also have here the limits assuming 100% branching fractions to one of the electron types, or they have considered also 4 different benchmark points assuming different branching fractions here to different electrons. So there are limits set, which is say around varies from say 500 to almost like 700, 800, and so on. Yeah. So one has to interpret it in different models. Okay, so I think that's it from my side. So it brings to my summary. So there are a large number of analyses for charge searches at LHC and covering wide variety of production mechanisms and decay modes and motivated by various BSM models. So there are no observation yet. So stringent limits are already being set in many cases. So some analyses are still ongoing for full run to data, and particularly the Higgs tau mu one. So looking forward to also exciting results in round 3. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Arun. So again, floor is open for some few questions.
Ritesh, can I ask the question even if I have not typed it in?
Yeah, please.
Because before you asked the question in the middle, I had been sort of keeping them in my head.
Yeah.
Now there are two major questions I had, Arun, I wanted to understand. One is that, when you have done these charge sheets searches, H plus to TB bar, and then there the H plus masses that you have looked at are rather large, which is nice. But the question I had was that when you look at the hadronic final states and look at the large H plus masses, have you people already used up all the machinery about boosted searches about the tops and so on? Because when the charge sheets mass is much higher, like 1600 or even 1400, I think it will be boosted topology. So I'm wondering whether that has all been used up, or do we expect some changes in this? Because this is with full 139 femtobarn inverse. So I'm trying to see what could change it now. There's your results.
I think this analysis is not using yet the boosted categories.
So that would mean that for the higher mass cases,
you can
we might expect some changes, right?
Yes, you can still improve further with the
considering or maybe fine.
Yeah. So
okay. Okay.
I think the CMS analysis is still ongoing, so I guess they are still considering the boosted. Yeah.
Now the other question I had was for the just show that plot, HMSSM plot here. No, one before this.
This one?
Here. What was this? This I had not been able to see actually. So the red and dashed area means.
This one.
That means that anyway the upper region is ruled out from the Higgs mass consideration. Is that it? See, your red
one or the lower one, which is ruled out in this case.
So I don't know what is ruled out. So I wanted to know.
Low tan beta is ruled out by the
low one.
Yeah. But really low tan beta is ruled out. That I agree. But 10 tangent beta of 10 is ruled out by MH125. I find it very hard to believe.
It depends on which scenario you are considering. I think this one is.
H plus mass, yes, but that's why I got confused with this.
Yeah, so this one is this MH mode minus scenario. So this okay. I think
okay, it might depend on
2013 scenarios.
Yes. Yeah. Pietro, thanks for the comment. It may depend on
I
what
will
has
have
been proven.
a slide on
Yeah.
the scenarios in my talk.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
good. Because
Yeah, this
I was
is
not getting
this
very
is still a old
clarity.
result. Yeah.
Now, the reason I got confused is because tangent beta was rather high. But okay,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
this mod business might change things. Okay. And one more question I had, Arun, for you was for lepton, the H plus going to W plus or or N plus, those kinds of sturges. There one has still rather small masses of the H plus, no? When we look at through the VV,
Vector boson fusion.
go to the L plus. You had this
L plus.
structures, yeah. Oh, then
This
I
one's
think
are-
I got something wrong in my head. Okay.
It's L plus L minus or
So it was the L plus L minus, L plus L plus and L plus L minus that were to the low mass guys, is it? Because there was this 200 to 500 range that was for the
because
only
this
for the
WW.
that was for the WW, right? That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Ask the question. Now for the WW searches, this is that means that for the large H plus masses
Yeah.
in the WW,
Channel.
that is W plus search, right?
Yes.
Now, when you look at that, the sensitivity sort of runs out at rather small masses of H plus.
Yes. So you need to still improve.
So no, the question I had really was that with HLLHC, since we are talking of HLLHC, how much better can we do? Because those are the ones that are strongly, I mean, not that we believe that there is strongly interacting dynamics, but if there is anything else to be looked at, then we might want to know how much further this can be pushed for the H plus masses.
Okay. So this one is mostly, this analysis is it's using most like counting. Okay, they use mostly counting events. I think
So it's a cut and count, you think?
Yeah, it's more or less like cut and count. You can see that one beans in this image define the signal region in this, which is just one bean. So it's most likely, mostly like a cut and count method. But I think we need to improve a lot further in this analysis.
No, I was just wondering what one can improve
the number of events are also very small, as you see.
No, that is why I asked you about HLLHC. That is there any hope of doing better or going? What is the projection? That was the question.
Yeah, I wanted to study this.
Okay. So often from your books, from your various books, you don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so if there
Thanks.
one more quick question from somewhere, we can take it. If there are no more questions, so let's thank Arun Nayak